Welcome to Financially Speaking with SFM. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Michael Allen and David Allen. They are the co-founders of Security Financial Management. Michael, how are you this morning?
Doing great. How are you today?
I am doing fantastic. Always a pleasure to see you. And David, how are you this morning?
Doing fantastic. Thanks.
It's always a pleasure to see you. And I love our time together. I'm doing great. Thank you so much. The shows have been amazing, and I know that you've been so extremely busy. Obviously, you were busy before you started with the television shows, but now this has taken you to an entirely different level. So how are you managing all of the new clients that you're having into the office?
Well, we have processes put in place.
Okay.
And where we're able to deal with that, and we have, if somebody calls in our office, we set up the meetings, and our staff sends out notifications to them and reminds them.
Okay.
As far as that goes, and
we also have 20 advisors, so we're able to.
That's fantastic.
We have a great team.
Yeah, and 2 locations now.
Right.
Let's talk about that. The locations are located.
We have a main location in Orlando area, in the Baldwin Park area.
Okay.
And then we also have another main location in the Brevard County area near Viera, Florida, which is Melbourne, between Melbourne and Cocoa Beach area. And both very established and well staffed, and it's nice to have, because we're born and raised. Mike and I, Mike's my brother.
Okay. Yep.
And Mike and I grew up in Melbourne, and actually our other partner Frank is also. That's where we all met and grew up in Melbourne, Florida. So it's nice to. That was a second office after 2004.
Okay.
Well, we established the Brevard County office, and it's grown very nicely with everything that's going on in there. We have all the Space Center, all of the SpaceX with the Elon Musk company.
Yeah.
I mean, it is just booming over there. The Space Center is going again. And then we have all the aerospace type companies like Boeing. And
fantastic.
They're filling up that area, it's nice growth in the Brevard County area.
And we've really had to coach a lot, had the opportunity to coach a lot of clients through the transition. The big transition was when the space shuttle program went away.
Sure.
Transitioning, helping them either retire or helping them move into their new 401ks and new companies, as far as that goes.
Very nice and very busy. Let's talk a little bit about the history of the company, if we could. Okay. How did it start?
Okay, well, Frank and I, Lavalio and I were the founders back in the mid-'80s, but it all started back in the 70s when we were young boys. We were neighborhood friends that met, and I moved into the neighborhood, and I saw a buddy that I played basketball with in camps, and we were 14 years old. Became really good buddies for the long term, and grew up, went to different high schools, one street apart, different high schools, which is very strange.
Yeah.
But then Frank got a basketball scholarship. She's bigger than me. And so he had his college paid for with a basketball scholarship. But I went to a nearby school as well.
Through Bennigan's. Bennigan's paid for yours.
Yeah, Bennigan's paid for mine. I was a waiter. Let's keep that one low.
They had the best chocolate dessert, though.
They used to. They were great, weren't they?
Yes.
Yes, that was really good. What was it, Chocolate Thunder or something?
Yes. Oh my gosh. Now we're talking about you.
We got off beat there. So Frank and I went through college and stayed great friends through college, and then. As we grew up, I got the first job with a big financial firm, and my boss said, "Hey, you're doing a good job. Do you know somebody else that might? We don't normally hire kids out of college." Well, I've got one interview, and 9 months later, Frank had a job with the company too. And then we worked there for 3 years, a big financial firm, and after 3 reorganizations, we're still in our mid-20s, and we said, you know what, this is not what we want to do, let's start our own company. And that was the birth of Security Financial Management. Was it named Security Financial Management because when you're 25 years old, you think you know a whole lot more than you do, but we stayed with it, we've evolved, and we've built our company into probably one of the largest independent firms in Central Florida. We have over 20 advisors in-house. And what's nice is that we have an advisor for almost anybody. We have female advisors, we have male advisors, we've got bilingual advisors.
That's fantastic.
That speak both Spanish and English, and that's very important in Florida.
Absolutely.
Sometimes grandma doesn't speak English.
Exactly.
And so we have some people that can definitely work with that. So that we've become very busy and grown, and it's grown to something that we never thought as little boys that would grow to.
Oh, it's a dream that came true for everyone. Absolutely.
And Mike joined us in late 80s.
Late 90s.
Oh, sorry. Late 90s.
Okay.
That's a little
I'm
different.
not as old as you.
We're not going there. We're not going there. So Mike joined us, has been with us for 22 years, and he is the manager and runs our Brevard County operation.
Nice.
So we call Mike the Tasmanian devil because he's everywhere. Mike is everywhere.
That. And you love the team approach, Michael. Let's talk a little bit about that in case someone's watching for the first time.
So again, the team approach is basically you have a couple advisors team up and work with the client. So we go into the meeting, we meet them. Usually there's one point guard. We say we're all a big team. We feel like we're playing a sport as far as coaching our clients and all that. So, but we do the data gathering together. Two sets of eyes are better than one, especially when you have real technical plans.
Yeah.
We help build the plan together as we find out what their goals and objectives are. We implement the plan we present the plan, and then we implement that plan, and then have reviews on a continual basis, like 2 to 4 times a year, where every time we hit on different aspects of their financial life. It could be tax planning one meeting, estate planning, beneficiaries, making sure that they take care of that.
That's important.
Because a lot of people forget to do that. Insurance planning and investment planning. So investment planning is really important. Dave, do you have something to say about that?
Sure. Investment planning is what everybody thinks a financial advisor does. And that is a big part. It's basically the gas that makes the engine run, correct?
Sure.
If you don't have enough money to do what your goals are, you've got to revisit those goals. So one of the things that we run into all the time is risk personalities. So if somebody comes in here, and being in the business as long as we've been in the business, I can pretty much tell what your personality is, but we have tools in place that we will analyze your risk, find out what your real investment personality is, and define a plan. Sometimes somebody thinks that they are very aggressive, and then you get something like happened this past March, when the Dow goes from 26,000 down to 18,000, and in an extremely short period of time, we found out who people are made of.
Oh, of course.
And some of the people that were very conservative, they were just fine. Some of the people that said they were very aggressive were not just fine. And you can really make bad decisions. And the key is having the right money. When I say the correct money invested, you've got your different buckets of money. You got your reserves, your emergency funds, then you got your next level that's maybe not very volatile, but you can get to it very easily without much tax consequences. And then you got your longer term money to coordinate with your income. So your longer term money, you've got to be able to leave it alone and let it do its deal. That doesn't mean don't make changes. Revisit those on the reviews and make appropriate decisions. But we find if you're invested if your investment personality doesn't match your investments, bad decisions are going to be made. You're going to make the wrong moves at the wrong time.
Sure, that makes sense. Gentlemen, I want to talk to you a little bit more about investment strategies and what have you, risk tolerance, but we're going to open up the phone lines to the viewers at home. This is a perfect time for that. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. To the viewers at home, the phone lines are now open. That number to call is 877-740-6553. If you have questions about what you currently have in place, what your plan looks like, let the gentleman here today take a look at what you currently have and make sure it's the right plan for you. They're offering you a complimentary, comprehensive financial plan to the first 10 callers only, and all you have to do today is pick up the phone and call. The number is 877-740-6553. We have to take a very short commercial break, but when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more about investments and investment strategies, so please stay tuned.
How confident are you in your current financial plan? Do you know with certainty how the recent market volatility will affect your future hopes and dreams? How much are you paying in taxes? And how much are you losing to unnecessary high fees? You didn't work to save this money so that you could spend your time worried in retirement. Now is the time to take charge of your finances so you can feel confident about your future. Call in during the next 30 minutes of today's show only. to set up an absolutely complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review that will result in your own customized written plan. This is a $999 value that we're giving away complimentary to the first 10 people who respond. We'll start with a full-blown analysis of what you already have, by running a report to untangle how much you are currently paying in fees, how you're allocated for risk, and what it's costing to work with your current advisor. Next, we'll identify your goals. Where do you see yourself in the next 5 years? Where do you want to go, and who do you hope to go there with? Is your current financial plan set up to get you there without mishap? Let's design a roadmap to create a financial plan you can follow with confidence. Get the piece that so many people are missing from their retirement. Find out how having a written plan can make a difference to your retirement dreams. Call now to schedule your complimentary, no obligation, full-blown financial review today.
Welcome back to Financially Speaking with SFM. My name is Cynthia DeFazio. I'm joined today by Michael Allen and David Allen. They're the co-founders of Security Financial Management. Gentlemen, a great first segment of the show. Obviously, we touched in on the fact of investments and making sure that someone is properly lined up and they know their risk tolerance. I'm sure there's a lot of times when people come into the office and they tell you that they are one level of risk tolerance, but you take a look at what they currently have and you realize that they're exceptionally higher. Let's talk a little bit about how the financial plan plays into the total picture, if you will.
Okay. Well, first off, as I said before, we've been talking at the break, is that people need to invest according to their risk tolerance.
Sure.
And they also need to have appropriate structure for their income too. So if they're retired, you don't want that disturbed. So there might be different buckets for income.
Okay.
But here's how a common question, and this is a live question that happens a lot of time in Florida, where somebody wants to buy a condo at the beach.
Sure.
So we have a couple call us and say, hey, I'm thinking about buying a condo over on Cocoa Beach. And does that fit into my plan? So we'll take all of their plan, and their plan is live. It's current with all their investments, but we'll take that new goal and we'll drop it right into the plan and say, okay, what is a mortgage? Will there be a mortgage? Will you be paying cash for it? All the facts. And if it comes out and says, it works, we're going to be real honest with you. But if you're pushing it and it's a little bit on the edge, we're going to be honest with you too and tell you something will have to give. You either have to slow down your income stream if you want that, maybe buy a lesser condo. That $550,000 one maybe drop down to $350,000, and that works. So we're going to be real straightforward and honest with you, but that is a common, because your plan is live with us, it's not a one-time occurrence, it's a living organism, so to speak, that is going to evolve. And so Mike also, about the reviews.
Sure. And it's important to use the financial planning program during reviews. And if your advisor is not helping you guys in working with you on a continual basis with your plan, maybe they need to look at somebody else and get a second opinion, because you need somebody who's a coach. In regards to the financial plan, the way we use it during the meetings is we have tools for Roth conversions. Is Roth conversion something you want to do? Basically, that's taking money out of an IRA, which is tax deferred, and moving it into paying the tax and moving it into a Roth IRA. We don't want to get too technical on it, but it's paying the tax now where we know taxes are going to go up in the future.
Exactly.
But they may go down too, but not for a while, I don't think. Right. So we always talk to their tax advisor and make sure that we can come up with the broad strokes here and say if we tell them if we think it would be a good idea for them, but then we pass it by their estate.
Mike, let me add a little something to that too. And here's a real live example of that Roth conversion. When you do a Roth conversion, that's converting your IRA to a Roth. You can do it in bits and pieces, or you can do it one time. Well, when the market blips, or has a major correction, sometimes you have in that IRA, its value drops, but you still like what you own. Your investments doesn't mean because the market drops, your investments are bad investments. Right. And at that time, while the market's down, you convert it to a Roth at a lower valuation, so your taxes are lower, and then let it grow back tax-free in a Roth. Okay. So that's a good strategy, but you got to make sure that when you're in a Roth, you've got you got to leave it in there for the greater of 5 years or to age 59 and a half. So if your intention is to convert it to a Roth and get it tax-free, you want to make sure that you've got at least 5 years if that's greater than 59 and a half, because it's not tax-free unless you wait that period of time out.
Okay.
And another thing is with another tool we have is Social Security maximization.
Okay.
Making sure that somebody, like we often have clients call us and say, you know what, I want to take Social Security as quick as I can because I don't know if it's going to be around.
Right.
I think there could be adjustments for the younger generations, like our children, and maybe even a little older than that, as far as the Social Security and when they get paid out and everything in that regard. But what we do is we coach them and we talk to them, show on our analysis, okay, how's it going to affect your plan if you take it at 62?
Yep.
Or you take it at full retirement, which is basically 66. The difference between every year you go back from 66 to 62 is an 8% penalty.
Wow.
And the same goes for, on the positive side, every year you can wait to go to 70, no further than that it goes up 8% every year. And so if they're able to hold off and they have the flexibility, then they can invest other assets, use their investment portfolio, make sure it's properly invested, and everybody's different.
Okay.
Use their investment portfolio to live off of while we're letting that 8% grow.
Mike,
Okay.
To add to that, one thing, once again, everybody's different, and you might have somebody else that is thinking, okay, I'm going to hold out a year and I'm going to let 8% higher. Well, look at their family history. How long did mom and dad live? Okay, if you wait another year, many people get $2,500 to $100 to $3,000 a month. That's $36,000 they gave up in that year. For every year you push off into the future, it's about a 12-year break even.
Wow.
So you got to make sure you're going to outlive that number. Look at your health, and that's also, do I take it early or not?
Yeah.
If you're not real healthy, take it. If you're not working, you just got to be careful when you take early retirement. If you are still working, there is some penalties as far as reductions of your amount of Social Security receiving if you take it early. So
And another issue is survivorship. If you've got a spouse and you take it early. So we look at all the different dynamics within that family to make sure we're doing the right thing for our client.
As far as that team again, that reminded me of something. Medicare is the other issue that rides along in that same time frame, and that's a real confusing thing for people as well.
Sure.
We have specialists in our office that understand Medicare and all the different options that they have, and it might be just I had a client that came in, one of my very good clients that came in and said, should I, and he still was working, should I stay on my company's plan even though I'm eligible for a Medicare supplement or an Advantage plan, or should I stay with where I'm at? We do the whole analysis and said, while you're working, you need to stay on your company's plan. But we have advisors that are specialists in that arena, and that's a big value to our client as well.
Absolutely. And also, does it fall into long-term care planning? Do you also cover that with your clients?
Definitely.
Yeah.
Long-term care planning is so important. It's paying that premium every month is not fun, or every year. It's kind of like paying your property and casualty insurance. I'm not a huge fan. I don't love insurance, but it's a necessary evil.
Right.
And we don't love it until we need it.
Absolutely.
So we've had clients come to us, or actually the kids of clients come to us and thank us so much for convincing their parents to get long-term care insurance.
Mike, let me add to that too. People always think long-term care is all about your insurance. It's not. It's part of it. It's a piece of that puzzle, but having proper legal documents, the powers of attorney, the healthcare surrogates, making sure your lawyer does all of those documents. So having those in place before you become incompetent. Second is, what if you have already got a condition coming in place? Maybe you got early stages of Parkinson's and the doc says that 5 years from now there's going to be an issue. Well, if you've got some time on your hand, you can go visit with an elder law lawyer. They have strategies to help to make sure that you maximize your wealth for your family.
Okay.
So that's real important. But Mike, add one more thing. You talked about paying for your long-term care on a single payment. I interrupted him, so I'm sorry, Mike.
That's what brothers do.
Older brothers do that, even though, no, I'm not going to even go there. But there's many times some of the long-term care plans allow you to take Maybe there is an idle asset. You have a CD that's sitting out here that is just there for reserve reasons. You can take that money and put it into a one-time payment and have your long-term care. You've just repositioned that money so that now you know that long-term care is taken care of with just a simple lump sum and no annual payment. So there are strategies that one can do, and it's not all about paying that premium like your auto insurance, and you're not going to get any benefit unless you get in a car wreck. So
absolutely,
you don't have to wreck.
This is the perfect time for us to reopen the phone lines, gentlemen. Do you agree?
Yes.
Okay. To the viewers at home, once again, the phone lines are now open. That number to call is 877-740-6553. What you're calling in for today is the Complementary Comprehensive Financial Plan. Take a look at where you currently are right now in your life. Is this the plan that is going to design your needs for the next 10, 15, maybe 20 years? You deserve to have that peace of mind. And again, this is a complimentary consultation. All you have to do is pick up the phone and call 877-740-6553. We'll be right back after this very short commercial break.
As a good saver, you've been putting away money during your working years. Studies find that the biggest fear of retirees is running out of money. Market volatility isn't just the downward movement of stock prices, it's the size and frequency of change. The more dramatic the ups and downs, the higher the volatility. This can put savers who are newly retired or a few years away from being retired at greater risk. Today's generation of retirees is not receiving traditional pensions as our parents or grandparents did. Instead, we have retirement accounts such as 401ks or 403bs. These accounts typically expose your money to market risk. The last thing you want right before retirement is to lose a portion of the money you need for income. But how do you turn these accounts into a retirement income? Is it safe to keep all your retirement money sitting in the stock market? The last thing you want is to lose a portion of the money you need for income due to market loss. By working with a financial professional, you can learn how to turn a portion of your savings into an income stream for life and income for the life of your spouse if you're married. We all have moments in our lives when we wish we had taken action sooner. Don't let procrastination reign on your retirement parade. Act now before it's too late. Please call our office to set up your no-cost, no-obligation retirement income review today.
Welcome back to Financially Speaking with SFM. My name is Cynthia DeFazio, and I'm joined today by Michael Allen and David Allen. They're the co-founders of Security Financial Management. And gentlemen, an amazing show that we're having today. Mike, I have to ask you a very important question. Obviously, with March of 2020, we saw such a drop in the market, if you will. How did you reassure your clients? What did they do? Were they panicked? How did you give peace of mind is what I'm trying to ask you.
Well, first off, it's very important to communicate with clients.
Okay.
So while all the craziness was happening, we felt it too, and we were communicating with our clients. We were sending them out emails, contacting our clients as much as we could. Mm-hmm. We had our list. I mean, we printed up lists of our clients and say, okay, guys, let's make sure as much as we can we're taking care of our clients. And we've coached them really well over the past. Fortunately, unfortunately, we've lived through quite a few volatile times where we're able to coach clients and say, especially during the financial plan, we've insulated it. We have what if analysis, and we say bad timing, how their plan is doing in bad timing. Okay. What we do is it shows a percentage that their portfolio would go down, and one of the things I like to do is show them on the analysis the actual dollar amount, because 10% may not look bad. Sure. But when you look at the dollar amount, your portfolio goes down $100,000, $200,000. Yeah. So it helps us kind of plan for that future. When that happens. So when it actually did happen, like say in March, we had clients call us who we told were going to be okay. But we said, okay, let's do a Zoom meeting. Bring it up we'll do a Zoom meeting and bring it up on the monitor for you guys. Absolutely. And we work through it. We show them they're okay for the long term. How are we going to handle the volatility in the short term? And everybody's different, but we might say, okay, well, if you got some short-term goals, let's maybe not pay those short-term goals. Like if the bottom's already fallen out, don't pay those short-term goals. If you've got cash set to the side, use that for the short-term goals. And then when the market comes back up, then we can look at adjusting that as far as that goes.
Sure. What times like that do, Cynthia, like, a lot of us all remember, if you were here in the business in 2000, that was the tech crash. Sure. Then in 2008, 2009, the Great Recession, as it's referred to, and then the 2022 coronavirus mess up there. If you've been through those things, you can guide your clients a little bit better to know that owning quality, it works its way back.
Sure.
But bad decisions, as I've said earlier, are made during that period of time.
Because you're panicking.
Yeah, you're panicking.
There's fear.
So we always tell them, don't make changes during that period of time. If you were uncomfortable with what happened and you thought you were more aggressive than you were, it's more important to maybe, when things recover a little bit, go into some things that are a little more conservative. You know, maybe build some things that have a less of a downside, or some that have no downside, and so that you know that a piece of your portfolio is secure and safe, and then let a portion of it be in that ride that can happen. And even then, that doesn't mean have a bunch of conservative and then have this one a super wild ride over here. We still have to adjust that to your investment personality. That's an extremely important part of our business, because bad decisions are made during those periods of time. If you sold out, moved to cash in March, I mean, that market came back.
Like Friday it went down and it hit its bottom, and they were like, oh my gosh. And we actually had some people make bad decisions. And then the next Monday.
Yeah, and the end of the year was up 30,000. The Dow was 30,000. So who knows? I mean, that is the strangest year that I think I've ever been in my career.
Bottom line is it's the client's money, though. So we always tell our clients that it's your money, we're your coaches, but you have the final say in it. We help coach them and teach them and help them make good decisions. But bottom line
is it's always your money, and we're your coach. We're going to try to give you our wisdom and our guidance. But if you are adamant about it, I can't say no.
Right.
I don't want to have to say, I don't want to be put in that situation. I don't want you to be in that situation. You need to be able to live with these occurrences that happened in our recent past.
And that's the benefit of working with advisors that work together as a team. You're always there for your clients, whether it's the best of times or the worst of times. And that's the peace of mind that we're trying to let the viewing audience know today, that they'll make the right decision just by picking up the phone and calling you gentlemen.
Right.
Thank you both for another great show. I can't believe we're to the end of another week together, and I can't wait to see you back here again next week. To our viewers at home, the number to call is 877-740-6553. And again, what we're offering today is the Complementary Comprehensive Financial Plan. This is going to be available to the first 10 callers only. Make sure that you're on the right path for retirement. And again, you have to have an advocate on your side. Thank you for watching. Thank you for spending time with us. We'll see you back here again next week. Be safe, be happy, and be blessed.